The way the day's curtain draws open within your consciousness is perhaps the most sacred and underestimated act of our existence. The first moments after sleep are like virgin land, a fertile ground where the first seeds of thought, feeling, and intention will determine the harvest of the entire day that follows. If we sow the chaos of notifications, the rush of obligations, or the anxiety of what is to come, we will reap a heavy, reactive day where we are dragged along by the current of events. However, if we deliberately choose to sow silence, presence, and wisdom, we open the doors to a day that flows with lightness, clarity, and a profound sense of purpose. Ancestral wisdom, especially that which flourished in the monasteries and mountains of the East, teaches us that the morning is not just the beginning of a day, but a portal for the renewal of the soul itself, a daily instant where we are permitted to be reborn. In this gathering, we will explore together 10 keys to this wisdom, 10 practices that act as a compass for the soul, guiding your mind and spirit from the very first breath of the day. They are simple gestures, yet they are charged with a transformative power that echoes until nightfall. Key 1. The ritual of the silent awakening. As you feel consciousness returning to your body, resist the automatic impulse to move, to think, to plan. Remain motionless for a few precious moments, like a guardian protecting a treasure. This is the moment of the veil, the magical space between the world of dreams and the waking world. Feel the subtle weight of your body on the mattress, the texture of the fabric on your skin, the warmth that emanates from yourself. Notice the quietness of the room, or the distant sounds that begin to draw the soundscape of the morning. This pause is not wasted time, it is an act of reverence. It is you saying to the universe and to yourself, I am here, I am present to receive this new day. Breathe naturally, without effort, and simply observe the air entering and leaving, a flow that happens without your command. This simple act of observation anchors your mind in the now, preventing it from being immediately hijacked by the avalanche of worries waiting just outside the bed. Many of us awaken already in freefall, plummeting towards tasks, fears, and expectations. Ancestral wisdom invites us to awaken like the sun, which rises gradually, majestically, and silently, warming the world with its presence before beginning its work. This initial lightness is what will make all the difference. It doesn't matter if your day will be filled with important meetings or domestic challenges. If the first 5 minutes were lived in a state of presence, everything is transformed. You cease to be a leaf in the wind and become the tree, with firm roots in the ground of your own consciousness, able to sway with the wind without breaking. Awakening in silence and with attention is the greatest act of self-compassion you can practice. A gentle reminder that before being a professional, a parent, or a student, you are a being who breathes, who feels, who exists. Key 2. The alchemy of the first gesture, the tea of presence. Before your mind even begins to weave its web of thoughts, dedicate yourself to a first gesture that is a meditation in itself. The preparation of a warm drink, like tea, can be this alchemy. It is not just about ingesting a liquid, but about transforming a mundane act into a practice of mindfulness. As you walk to the kitchen, feel the floor beneath your feet. As you pick up the kettle, feel its weight and temperature. Listen to the sound of the water filling the vessel, a sound that is the very voice of life. As the water heats, do not get distracted. Observe the steam that begins to rise, the subtle change in the kettle's sound that announces its boil. Every stage is an opportunity. Choose your herbs with intention. Sense the aroma they release even before they touch the water. Is it chamomile for calm, peppermint for awakening? Each scent carries a message. As you pour the hot water over the leaves, watch the color slowly infuse the liquid, the dance of tiny particles transforming pure water into an elixir. This is no longer just a simple tea, it is the tea of presence. As you hold the cup, feel the warmth transfer to your hands, a heat that comforts and anchors. Before the first sip, just breathe in the steam, let the aroma prepare your spirit, and then drink. Drink slowly, feeling the liquid touch your lips, your tongue, and descend, warming your core. Try for these few minutes to do nothing else but drink your tea. If the mind wanders to your to-do list, gently bring it back to the sensation of warmth, to the taste in your mouth. This small ritual slows down the nervous system, calms the flow of thoughts, and teaches your mind, in a very concrete way, that peace is not found in grand events, but in the depth with which we live the small moments. The body, often treated as a mere vehicle, is honored. The mind, almost always fleeing to the future, learns to rest in the now. This act, which may last only 10 minutes, creates a foundation of serenity upon which your entire day will be built. You do not need a temple, your kitchen becomes one. You do not need a master, the teacup becomes one. Key 3. Anchoring the body, the contact with the earth. After your ritual of awakening and your tea of presence, before diving into your routine, take 1 minute to connect with the earth. Stand up, barefoot if possible, and feel the entire sole of each foot in contact with the floor. Close your eyes for a moment and shift your attention to this connection. Imagine that roots grow from your feet, like those of an ancient tree, plunging deep into the earth, passing through the floor, the concrete, until they find the fertile soil below. Feel this energy of stability rising up through your legs, strengthening your core, aligning your spine. Anxiety and hurry are like strong winds that unbalance us, that make us feel like we are floating, ungrounded. This simple practice of anchoring is the antidote. It is a bodily reminder that you belong here, that you have support, a firm foundation. Breathe deeply a few times, feeling that with each inhalation, you draw the strength and stability of the earth into you, and with each exhalation, you release tensions, uncertainties, surrendering them to the earth to be transformed. In Buddhist thought, the mind and body are not separate entities. What happens in one is reflected in the other. By giving your body a physical sensation of safety and stability, you send a powerful message to your mind. It's okay. I am safe. I have a foundation. Walking hastily and inattentively disconnects us. This act of stopping and feeling the ground reconnects us. It is a standing meditation, a gesture of humility and strength that prepares you to walk through your day with more balance and confidence, no matter how slippery the path may seem. You become the mountain which watches the clouds of thoughts and emotions pass by, but remains firm, present, and unshakable in its foundation. Key 4. The sanctuary of the mind, shielding from digital noise. Your mind upon waking is like a sacred, silent city, still shrouded in the serene mist of dawn. The gates are closed, the guards are at rest, and a deep peace inhabits its streets. The smartphone, with its bright screen and its infinite promises of connection, is the Trojan horse waiting just outside those gates. The moment you pick it up, you are not just checking the time or your messages, you are unwittingly authorizing the entry of an entire army, an army of distractions, of social comparisons, of alarming news, of other people's urgent demands, of advertisements that generate desire. In seconds, the peace of your sacred city is shattered. Noise invades, haste settles in, and your internal agenda is immediately replaced by the agenda of the outside world. To protect your mind for the first 30 or 40 minutes of the day is not an act of denying the digital world, but rather an act of wisdom and self-governance. It is the gesture of a wise guardian who says, "Not yet. First, we will strengthen our own walls, light our own lamps, and set our own rhythm." This interval creates a force field, an inviolable sanctuary around your consciousness. By doing this, you plant the seed of mental sovereignty. You cease to be a passive receptacle for the information the world throws at you and become the active curator of your own experience. The practice of delaying contact with the screen strengthens your ability to focus, drastically reduces levels of morning anxiety, and gives you back control over the most valuable resource you possess, your attention. The world can wait. The news will still be there. The emails will not disappear. What does not return is the opportunity to start the day from a place of centeredness, silence, and inner power. This choice, repeated each morning, is a revolutionary training in a world that profits from our distraction. It is you, in a silent act of rebellion, choosing depth over superficiality, serenity over chaos. Key 5. The breath as an oracle, listening to the whisper of life. We have already spoken of breathing, but now we go to a deeper level. Ancestral wisdom teaches us not just to take deep breaths, but to listen to our breath. Your breath is the oldest and most reliable oracle you possess, an immediate mirror of your inner state, Before you get up, or even while sitting on the edge of the bed, close your eyes and bring your full attention to the flow of air without trying to change it. Just observe. Ask yourself the oracle's questions. How is my breath right now? Is it short, rapid, almost imperceptible, trapped in the upper chest? This is the oracle revealing agitation, anxiety, or fear. Is your breath long, deep, smooth, expanding the abdomen? This is the oracle confirming the presence of calm and relaxation. Is it irregular with pauses and sighs? Perhaps the oracle is pointing to an unprocessed sadness or worry. There is no judgment in this listening. It is pure information. The breath is the language the body uses to speak to the mind. By becoming an attentive listener, you open a silent dialogue with your body's innate wisdom. If you notice agitated breathing, you don't need to fight it. The very act of noticing already begins to calm it. You can then gently invite it to deepen, to become slower and more rhythmic. Imagine that with each inhalation, you are bringing a wave of peace inside, and with each exhalation you are releasing tension, like a dark smoke that dissipates. This 5-minute practice transforms breathing from an automatic biological function into a conscious tool for self-knowledge and self-regulation. It is a constant reminder that, no matter how chaotic the outer world becomes, you can always return home to the anchor of your own breath. This oracle never lies and is available anytime, anywhere for free. Learning to consult it in the morning tunes your inner instrument for the entire day, making you more aware of your emotional shifts and more capable of navigating them with wisdom and grace. Key 6. Sowing the day. The choice of a single guiding word. The human mind craves direction. Left to its own devices, it tends to wander through labyrinths of worry and rumination. Instead of creating a complex list of morning goals or intentions, the wisdom of simplicity invites us to choose a single guiding word for our day. One word. After breathing and anchoring yourself, ask your heart, of all the qualities that exist, which one do I most need to cultivate today? The answer might be patience, it might be lightness, it might be focus, courage, acceptance, gratitude. Don't overanalyze. Trust the first word that arises with sincerity. Once chosen, this word is not a rigid commandment to be followed, but a lighthouse, a gentle reminder that will color your perception. If your word is patience, a traffic jam will no longer be a source of fury, but will become a training ground for your intention. If your word is lightness, an unexpected criticism at work might be seen not as a heavy personal attack, but as a passing cloud that you can observe without identifying with it. The guiding word acts as a subtle filter through which you experience the world. It doesn't change the events, but it changes your relationship with the events. You can write it on a sticky note and leave it in a visible place, or simply repeat it mentally a few times, planting it firmly in the soil of your consciousness. Throughout the day, when you feel lost, reactive, or overwhelmed, you can simply return to your word. It becomes your anchor, your point of return to awareness. This practice is incredibly powerful because it gives the mind a positive and simple job to do, a focus that prevents it from being hijacked by negativity. It's like giving a child a fascinating toy so they don't get lost in a crowd. Your guiding word is the gift you give your mind so that it can walk through the day with purpose and grace. And it is with this key, that of sowing the day, that we arrive at a very special point in our journey together. This channel is more than a place to listen. It is a refuge we build together, a digital campfire around which we sit to share warmth and light. If these words and practices are warming your heart, consider joining our community. Your subscription is your gesture of saying, I too want to keep this fire burning. But today, the invitation goes further. The 6th key taught us about the power of a guiding word. I want to invite you to use the comment section below, not just to react, but to sow. Share with us what your word is, your intention, or even a silent request for your day or for someone else's day. It could be, may I find calm, or may my family have health, or may the world find more compassion. Let's transform this comment section into a garden of intentions, a mural of positive wishes where every word planted helps everyone else's to bloom. By sharing, you not only strengthen your own path, but you weave with us a network of energy and care. Of course, here is the 3rd block of the script, translated into English, completing the final thought that was cut off in the previous response. Script, Block 3 of 4, start of Block 3. Key 7, the fertile empty space, the practice of non-action. In our culture of incessant productivity, the idea of meditation is often misinterpreted as one more task to be accomplished, one more technique to be mastered. We believe we must empty the mind, an exhausting and almost always doomed struggle that only generates more frustration. Ancestral wisdom proposes something much more radical and at the same time much gentler, the practice of non-action. In the morning, after your initial rituals, find a place to sit in silence for just 5 or 7 minutes. The instruction is not to clear your mind, but rather to create a fertile, empty space. Think of a wise farmer. He knows he cannot force the seeds to grow. He knows that from time to time, the field must lie fallow, it must rest, so that the soil can recover its nutrients and vitality. This period of rest is not unproductive. It is the most essential part of cultivation. In the same way, your mind needs this fallow period. As you sit in silence, your only task is to have no task at all. Just be. Allow thoughts to come, like clouds in the sky. Allow emotions to arise, like waves in the ocean. Do not cling to them. Do not analyze them. Do not judge them. And above all, do not fight them. Just observe. You are the sky, not the clouds. You are the ocean, not the waves. By practicing non-action, you stop feeding the mental noise. And in the vacuum that is created, something magical happens. The soil of your mind becomes fertile. Intuitions, creative solutions to problems that tormented you, feelings of peace and clarity begin to sprout spontaneously, not because you forced them, but because you finally gave them the space to emerge. This empty space is not a void of nothingness, but a vacuum of pure potentiality. It is an act of deep trust in your own inner wisdom. It is in this silence that the soul reorganizes itself, that emotional wounds heal, and that clarity finds its way to you. The morning practice of non-action is the greatest productivity gift you can give yourself, for it doesn't teach you to do more, but to be more. And from that state of being, all of your doing becomes more inspired, efficient, and aligned. Key 8. The invisible thread of connection, the secret act of giving. We live in an age that glorifies individuality, yet deep in our souls, we feel a profound thirst for connection. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that every living being, from the smallest insect to the person we have the most difficulty with, is connected to us by an invisible thread of shared humanity. A powerful way to honor and strengthen this web of interconnection is through the secret act of giving. Unlike charity that seeks recognition, the secret act of giving is an exercise for the heart, performed far from the eyes of the world and especially from the eyes of the ego. It can be something minimal, almost invisible. It could be leaving a slightly larger tip than usual for the waiter, with the silent intention that their day be lighter. It could be sending an anonymous compliment to a co-worker who did a good job. It could be putting someone else's shopping cart back in its place without them seeing. It could be dedicating a thought of compassion to someone suffering in the news. The power of this gesture lies in its anonymity. When the act is secret, the ego cannot feed on it. There is no applause to be received. There are no likes to be counted. What remains is the purity of the intention. The reward is not external. It is the very sensation of having strengthened the web, of having added a drop of kindness to the world's ocean, without asking for anything in return. Practicing a small, secret act of giving in the morning sets a tone of generosity for your day. It pulls you out of the center of your own universe and reminds you that you are part of something much larger. This gesture dissolves the walls of I and other, creating a sense of fluidity and belonging. Over time, this practice transforms your perception. You begin to see opportunities for kindness everywhere. Your heart becomes softer, your mind less judgmental, and you discover a source of joy that does not depend on receiving, but on the pure and simple joy of giving. Key 9. The dance of the ephemeral, embracing the beauty of change. One of the greatest and most persistent sources of human suffering is our constant war against impermanence. We cling desperately to moments of joy, trying to freeze them in time, and we fiercely resist moments of pain, trying to expel them as quickly as possible. In both cases, we are fighting against the natural flow of life, which is, by its very nature, a dance of the ephemeral. Ancestral wisdom invites us to change our perspective. Instead of fighting against the dance, what if we learned its steps? The cherry blossom is breathtakingly beautiful, not in spite of its short life, but because of it. It is its fleeting nature that moves us and invites us to appreciate it with total presence. The sunset would not be so magical if it were eternal. Its beauty is contained in its transience. Remembering this in the morning is a liberating practice. Look around you. Everything you see is in a state of flux. Your body, your thoughts, the people you love, the very day that is dawning. Nothing is fixed. Embracing impermanence is not an act of pessimistic resignation, but of radically optimistic realism. When you understand that good moments are fleeting, you live them with more intensity and gratitude. You savor the coffee, you listen to your child's laughter, you feel a friend's hug with the awareness that that instant is unique and precious. And when you understand that difficult moments are also fleeting, you face them with more courage and resilience, knowing that, like a storm, they too shall pass. Key 10. Expanding the heart, the circle of loving kindness. Our final key is not one of passive observation, but of active cultivation. It is a practice designed to intentionally stretch the muscle of the heart, expanding our capacity for compassion beyond its usual limits. This is the practice of loving kindness. In the quiet of your morning, take a minute to sit and silently offer these phrases, creating an expanding circle of warmth. You begin with yourself, for you cannot pour from an empty cup. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Feel the sincerity of this wish for your own well-being. Next, bring to mind someone you love dearly and effortlessly. Picture them and extend the same wish. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Then, the circle widens. Bring to mind a neutral person, someone you see but don't have strong feelings for, a cashier, a neighbor. Offer them the same sincere wish. Now comes the greatest practice. Bring to mind someone with whom you have difficulty. This is not about condoning harmful actions, but about freeing yourself from the poison of resentment. With as much sincerity as you can muster, offer the wish. May you be happy. May you find peace. Finally, expand the circle to its widest point, encompassing all people, all animals, all beings everywhere. Without exception, may all beings be happy and free from suffering. This practice, repeated daily, slowly rewires our default response from judgment and contraction to openness and compassion, creating a profound shift in how we relate to ourselves and the entire world. And so, our exploration of these 10 keys comes to a close. We began our journey by recognizing the morning as a sacred portal, a daily opportunity to be reborn into presence. We have journeyed from the silent stillness of our first waking moments to the active expansion of our heart's compassion, transforming the rush of automatic habit into a sequence of intentional, soul-nourishing rituals. Each key is a simple tool, but together they form a powerful compass to guide you toward a life lived with greater peace, clarity, and connection. Our time together today ends here, but the path, of course, continues. This space we are building is more than a channel. It is a sanctuary, a quiet reminder that we are not alone in our search for a more conscious and meaningful life. If you felt a calling, an echo of truth in these words, know that the doors to this community are always open. Your subscription is not a number to us. It is your voice saying, I too wish to walk this path. It is a beautiful gesture that allows us to continue lighting this small candle in a world that so deeply needs its warmth and light. You are so very welcome here. May your every awakening be a gateway to peace,